I was talking with Davis last week. We talked about Daniel and sometimes the perspective of him, and Davis calls him Little Eli because the mannerisms and everything else like that. Do you think Daniel really benefited of having a guy like Eli his first year to sort of teach him the ropes of this game?
I mean, I would say this, not knowing how that relationship was or not being here or anything, I would say, yeah, you could always benefit from having a guy who, is a Hall of Famer in the room, talking to you, giving you the perspective of those things. I would say, yeah, absolutely, that benefited.
Daniel we've seen him evolve in his offense, and he's expanded out a lot of different things, being able to make something out of nothing. Dable earlier today said he has a great relationship with receivers. He's out here working with them. How important is that for a quarterback to be able to put that type of time into with his receivers, not in practice time?
Yeah, it's definitely important. The chemistry between them and him really, helps make the offense go. And credit to those guys, Slayton, Richie, Isaiah, all of those guys across the board, Bellinger, Saquon, anybody who's eligible to go out for a pass when we do that. They've done a great job of getting on the same page with those things. They work before, during, and after practice on all of those things. So it's a credit to them for being willing to do that, and then them taking the coaching points of all the things that we've talked about since we've been here, going and applying them on the field.
When you go in against a team like this that runs so much cover three, right? Gus Bradley's done it forever. He masters the system, and I'm sure he's made adjustments over the years too, right? What are some of the key coaching points for Daniel in terms of attacking that type of zone? I know they really don't give up a lot of big plays or try to keep everything in front.
Yep.
So, what are some of the things he has to do to succeed against that type of scheme?
Yeah, the thing we just talked about is just keep making good decisions like he has, regardless of the coverage. That's always your first thing that you do. And then when you talk about a specific coverage, okay, the weak points are in this coverage are here. So let's think about attacking those areas. If they change it up, all right, now our mindset changes to, okay, it's not necessarily post high, it's split safety. So where are the weaknesses to that? So just focusing on the points that historically have been points that you want to get to in those coverages. You focus on those, read the progression out, and really it comes down to trusting your eyes and trusting what you see and making the right decision.
Yeah, and I guess the other part of it I'll ask them is they don't blitz a lot, right? They try to get home with their four, and they have a lot of guys in that zone. So is that a deal where, you feel like you have some time to hold the ball because they're not blitzing, but then the guys are coming after you, right? So how do you kind of talk to him about being patient with, finding the open guy in the zone, but at the same time, those four guys are very adept at getting to the quarterback?
Yeah, we always just talk about playing in rhythm. That's the biggest thing with the quarterback position. You got to, listen to your feet, regardless of whether it's a pressure or a four-man rush. Really, you're dependent on the routes to tell you that, rather than the rush. You never want to be too focused on that. You're listening to your feet, and if it's not there due to what your feet tell you, then you kind of go ahead and make a play, extend it like he's been doing a good job of.
So play on time, pretty much.
Yeah, play on time. Yep.
How do you look at getting your group back and whole?
With nostalgia.
It's been a while.
It's been a while. It's obviously, the opportunity to get X back, to get Adoree back is big for us. We'll see. You'll have to talk to Dave all about
he indicated
the exact.
Adoree is much closer.
Yeah,
but,
exact time frame. But just the thought that they, will be available soon is exciting.
Yeah. How much do you miss two premier players like that?
Yeah, I think the great thing for me this year is being around Wink, and the system is we've just plugged guys in, and the way Wink has built this system is built to be that way. Very user friendly, very. I'm not going to say easy because it was a lot of work to go into it to make it that way, but like very thoughtful about. We know we're going to lose players during the year, and we got to have a system where we can bring guys in and get them in quickly, because the NFL, obviously our rosters aren't as big as like college roster where you've got like 100 guys or 80 guys. We have limited number of guys, and we know during the season you're going to get a guy off the street, and he's going to have to play that week. And building a system that allows that to happen, I think, took a lot of forethought from him.
Yep.
And it's benefited us tremendously this year.
When you think about McKinney being healthy and on the field, what are the best couple of things he gives you?
There was a play yesterday in practice where he was on the scout team, and he's in the middle of the field, and they threw a ball on the sideline. And to see him come out, because I was standing back behind. Usually when the scout team's out there, I'm talking to the guys that just came off the field for us and what just happened, but I wanted to just go see him. And I was like, wow.
It was McKinney making a play?
It was McKinney making a play from the middle of the field all the way on the other boundary, and like one of those plays that not many guys can make.
Okay. Did he disrupt the ball or
Yeah.
did he catch it?
No, he disrupted.
Okay.
It wasn't catchable.
Okay.
I think he would have caught it.
Okay.
But he got there in a hurry, and to see him move was just like, wow, that's
I mean,
impressive.
he's a ball hawk of
That's
sorts,
what
right?
he is. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then with Adoree, what kind of, peace of mind's probably not the right word in your profession, but what kind of comfort do you have when you have a real fast, good corner like that on the field?
Well, I'm definitely a better coach when I have better players. Every coach is. Like the thing you love about Adoree all season has been his competitiveness, his desire to fit in the system, to do things the way that Wink has asked us to do things, and to help those younger guys in the room. So when he was out, as he's been out, he's still been very helpful to the guys in the room, helping and coaching and teaching. And, every week we have this thing where guys give specific goals for the game. And so the guys that are injured give their goal for the game, and his goal for the game is usually to be the best coach on the field. Adoree's.
When he can't be on the field.
When he can't be on the field,
Gotcha.
his goal is to be the best coach on the field and to help us win.
That's cool.
So you see him on the sideline helping and coaching, and I know he can't wait to be out there, and we can't wait to have him back.
So, Coach, I got to ask you,
Okay.
Odell Flott, did you get on him for the interception he almost had? Do you have guys have a little bit of like a kangaroo court in your meeting room?
No, didn't get on him because I thought he made an aggressive play, and I liked the aggressive play he made. I thought he missed an opportunity to reach out and go get the ball. Like he let it in his body, and that allowed the receiver, who's a veteran guy, a competitive guy, to tug on it and get it out. I think if he goes out front and catches it out front and tucks it, I think he takes that receiver out of the play by going more aggressive back to the ball. And the one thing we have to know as DBs is anytime a quarterback throws a pass, it's not intended for us. It's intended for that other guy. And you got to assume that other guy is right there all the time, and you got to always go make the aggressive play and attack the ball. So that was the coaching point for me was attack the ball. Don't let it in your body. Don't wait for it, because when you let it in your body, you give him a chance to get in the play. You want to take him out of that play.
So a little bit of a learning lesson for Cordell.
Yeah, hopefully.
Right.
Hopefully he learns and again, to his credit, he was aggressive on the play and went to make the aggressive attack the ball, but didn't finish it with the last little piece. Hopefully this week he gets a chance to take that next step, and we'll go pluck it and catch it out in front.
I would imagine you were pretty pleased that Aziz's injury was not as severe as maybe first thought.
Right, yeah, and he's, we're playing it day by day, but understanding the value of him out there, we're, excited for any opportunity he gets to show what he's got, because he's had a great year. He just keeps working each week to improve, and you're seeing that improvement on the field.
Why do you think he's only played like 6 games, he got like 6 sacks, a couple forced fumbles. Why has he been so effective?
Yeah, I think he made a conscious effort, and he worked really hard at it to really improve his hand usage and his footwork, getting off the ball, and his rush angles, and he's rushing at a really aggressive rate, and he's, you just see at the top of his rush how violent and how athletic he can be, and causes a lot of problems for tackles. Even last week playing against a good tackle, that success that he had there. So he just really put his mind to it, worked hard all off season, and continues to work hard each week. He studies tackles really, right down to the frame by frame, seeing how they punch and how they set. and he just works. He's a really hard-working, conscientious. Every play matters so much to him, and you see that on the field.
How close was that to a strip sack? It seemed like he hit the ball and it just
wouldn't
right? Come out right.
Yeah, it was. He just gets in great positions for those because he wins and he gets on top of that tackle so quick, and that it's that combination of really unique athletic ability combined with just that understanding his angles, understanding against this tackle he's getting this kind of set and he can win a certain way, and it's just leading to so much production. You really, as a coach, you appreciate how he attacks it each week.
I know we talked about it back when Kayvon had that play at the goal line back the first Washington game. Do you do something different? Do you coach to go after the ball? From a coaching point, when Aziz does that, I mean, I know it's a sack, but he's literally going after the ball. If he doesn't get that ball and Cousins squirts away, maybe do you coach that different, or is that exactly how you want him to attack that play?
Right, I think it's twofold. You always want to secure the sack, but at the same time, those mechanics we teach at the top of your rush when you do win, we're trying to make a game-changing play. So a lot of time you'll see guys actively punch at that ball and try to create as much force as they can with their outside hand, whether it's on the left side or right side. But you create that force, and a lot of times it's timing, right? You got to really time that up with when the quarterback would throw. In that case, he was a little more likely to tuck it. But understanding that if we can create that force and we can just practice and more repetition we can get at those angles and that violent punch, you can create shots on goal. And that's something that Wink emphasizes is create those opportunities. They may not all work. We may not get the ball out on all of them, but take those shots on goal. It's like hockey. You watch the Rangers game, the more shots they get, the more likely they are to win, right? So get those shots on goal, get those punches at the ball, and good things will happen.
With Kayvon, is that like the two Washington games where he didn't have the strip sack, the first one, the second one, was that like something you had taught, like just to see it play out like that?
No, I think as he studied the first one, I think, you always understand, and some of it was a little different timing of that, truly that ball getting out versus not. But that's just something, as he studies tape, and it's that improvement you continue to see from him is anything that he does, even a great play like that first sack, he's always looking to do it better, right? He's always looking to top himself. He's always looking to improve week to week. And you saw that, I mean, it's a perfect example of that, how he's growing as a player. Same angle, same side, and he goes and makes that obviously game-changing play, and it's just, he just continues to do things better than he did the week before, and that's what we all appreciate so much about him.
In what area do you think he's made the biggest leap in the second half of the season? Because he looks like a different player. His production has obviously been greater.
I mean, this is going to sound like a cop-out answer, but his health. He's getting healthier, and he's moving so much better than he did, and that, just like everything else, that's something that he has to work at, right? From that injury on, like that's not, 4 to 6 weeks, we'll just wait it out. Like every day he was working really hard. We have an unbelievable training staff, and he worked really hard to get where he's at now physically, which we understand when he's moving like he can move at his peak, that's a problem for the opponent. And I think combination of him working really hard at his health, and he's just improved the details. So it's the little things like we talked about Z's at the top of his rush. He's now improving at the top of his rush, and it can be just literally where you point your toe can make all the difference in the world. And it sounds easy, but it's hard to do at the heat of the moment. And those little details create production. They create quarterback hits, sacks. So and then hand placement in the run game. If your hand's on the outside pad versus down the middle of his chest, things like that can make a difference in setting the edge. So it's just he continues to chase those details, and the thing that you love about him is he wants to be great at all of those things. It's not, hey, I want to be this type of player only. He wants to be the complete package, and that's what really keeps showing up.
Do you see leadership qualities developing in him where guys want to really rally around him?
100%. And the thing that you value with those great players is it's like a humble leadership, right? I think John Calipari talks about servant leadership with his players. That's something that he has, and it's, he's the first guy, if he has to grab a bag or wear a scout team jersey, whatever it is that, we're giving a look, he's going to be that guy giving that look. And it's not just because he's a rookie, it's because he's trying to help the other guys, and he's just got so many good qualities as a teammate, as a guy in the locker room. And you just, as the season goes on, some guys fatigue in those areas. He's not one of those guys. He keeps getting better at those things. He keeps, understanding the value of we bring in a new guy, get to know that guy, get to know who he is, who his family is. understanding that the closer we are as a team, the better we're going to play as a team and the better he's going to play.
The big picture approach that you took with him from the very beginning, because his skill set is so diverse, you guys probably could have just said, you know what, we just want you to rush and get after the quarterback, and maybe the production would have come a lot sooner this season. Is that fair to say that he's been working on all parts of his game and you've been using him? You know, you're dropping him back into coverage. I don't know how many pass rushers as a rookie you're dropping back into coverage.
Right. There's probably not a lot of guys in the league you feel comfortable just locking down a tight end man-to-man, which he's capable of doing, or dropping into zone coverage and eliminating an over route, right? Those are things that are certainly rare for the position. So to me, it's a perfect marriage between him and Wink, in that Wink's going to be able to use guys in creative positions, and he's such a smart player. You give him any new assignment from week to week, he's going to knock it out the park because he's going to study it, he's going to rep it, he's going to watch tape and say, okay, how would it play on this play? How would it play on the next play? And I think that, you know, when you look at him as an edge setter, when you look at him moving around in patterns and putting him in different spots, and then obviously just third down, go and get it one-on-one wins, all those areas, he's improving each week. And it's not just, hey, this is who you are, you're just going to do this small assignment here. It's going to be a big picture, and I think what you see is that causes problems for the opponent. They don't know where he's going to line up. They don't know what he's going to do. So like that first Washington game, they slide the front away from him, thinking possibly he's going to drop on that play. Well, then he's unblocked. So I think there's certainly, you know, there's great things about him as a run player, a coverage player, a pass rusher, but when you combine all three of those, it causes problems for an offense.
Saquon told us before that second Washington game he had addressed the entire team. You know, have you noticed though, positionally and in your meeting group, him taking more of that leadership role and becoming more vocal as the year's gone on?
Right, I think that confidence keeps building week to week, that familiarity with the rest of the team, but then as it gets closer to, you know, November, December football, and these moments become critical, you see guys step up, not just on the field, but in the locker room in those leadership roles, and he has a ton of natural leadership ability. He understands that connectivity amongst the team, and that's something that Wink develops in guys, right? Wink understands we'll win games, a lot of games, with great leaders in our locker room. And that's something that from the day Kayvon got here, the day all these guys get here, Wink's developing those leadership qualities in those guys, and you're seeing guys take off with that.
Drew, when I talked to Kayvon yesterday, he mentioned the idea that this was all really hard for him for a period of time, initially till I'm not sure when. And then when things started to fall into place, he said, okay, that's essentially why it was so hard earlier on.
Right.
Does that resonate with you as a coach, that he's recognizing those steps that needed to be taken?
Yeah, I think he just has that growth mindset. He continues to grow as a player, and he says, hey, if this is something that was a weakness in his game, turn it into a strength. And that's not easy, right? Like, it's not easy to show up and have these things that you need to work on to get on pace or get above pace of other guys. And I think he's really tackled every one of those challenges head on, and that's a hard process, right? It's a lot easier drop it in and have an easy success, but when it's earned like it is for him, I think you appreciate it even more at the end of it, and we're just keep chasing it, keep trying to get better each week with it, and it's been fun to watch.
I know you have a ton of respect for a guy like Leonard Williams. You know, he's been through it for 9 years now. How happy are you that he's so close to playing in his first playoff game?
Well, I want it for him. You know, I like for him to experience that. You know, but it all comes down to us taking care of business, and I think he understands that. Right. And it's, you know, the game's going to be a fight. They've all been that way, you know, and so, you know, it's not going to be easy. We're going to have to go in there and win the game. But I love for him to experience that opportunity to get in the dance and see what playoff football is like.
Right. How have you seen him handle this season with all the injuries that he's had to deal with in the recent neck?
He's done a good job. I mean, you know, he's an old pro, even though he hadn't experienced it before, and he understands it comes with the territory of playing the position that he plays. And honestly, he's been blessed to play that long as a defensive lineman and not miss a game. You know, it's pretty violent in there. There's a lot of, you know, train wrecks that happen in there. And for you to go that long and not miss a game, you know, says a lot about who he is, you know, how tough he is and who he is as a person. So, but he's handled it really well. He's made sure that he stayed involved on the games that he missed, that he stayed involved in what we were doing. And so when he came back, there wasn't a lot of rust every time that he's come back.
Is that Because he hasn't missed so games, is that just like a credit to his routine, or is that just getting lucky and avoiding the combo?
I think it's a combination of all of it. Part of it, he needs to credit his mom and dad for really good genes. You know what I mean? I know part of it is luck, and then part of it is taking care of your body. And knowing what your body needs to recover week to week. After a game, it takes more than 48 hours for those guys to recover. The position he plays, he could have had to hold up 600 pounds, over 600 pounds, 13 to 14 snaps in the course of the game. And our bodies weren't made to do that. So, it takes time to recover from that. And I think over the years, he's done a nice job of understanding what he needed to do to get his body ready to go and do it again the next week.
Coach, even though Leo has 9 years in the league, is he the type of guy that's always looking to get coached up, always looking to learn?
I think that's been probably the biggest, most pleasurable thing that I've experienced since I've been here with the New York Giants, is that both Leo and Dex, both, just with open arms coach me. There was no, I've done this in the past, this is how I've succeeded. What you're telling me is totally different than what I've learned before. It was none of that. It was, okay, coach me. Explain to me what you mean. Oh, that's different. Okay. And they were very hungry for knowledge. They both were very eager to try the new things that I was giving them, and not get frustrated when it didn't work the first time. And to have belief in me that what I was telling them to do was going to help them be better as a player. And when I tell you that that's unusual, it's unusual with veteran guys that have already made a name for themselves. You know what I mean? And so I'm very appreciative of those two guys, that they welcome me with open arms and were willing to let me change their game.
Right.
How much toughness is Leo showing right now? I mean, it's visible that he's playing through some things right now. How much toughness is he showing right now? And how much do you appreciate that?
He's tough, and I appreciate that. But I think it goes along with playing the position. The O linemen and D linemen in this league by this time of the year are all dealing with something. And some part of your body is hurting, and you got to find a way to know the difference between pain and injury. When you're hurt, you can't play. When you're injured, you can't play. When it's pain, you play through it. That's just the way it is when you play O-line and D-line in the National Football League.
How tough is it? Can that line become blurred sometimes?
It can. And I think that's where, as a coach and a player, you got to have a real good relationship with that individual, to where sometimes you've got to go to them and say, hey, man, you need to back down, this, and miss a week or whatever. I appreciate you wanting to go, but it's not the best thing for you in the future. You know what I mean? So I think you got to have a good trust factor between the player and coach, that he understands you have his best interest at heart too.
What has Ryder shown you in his rookie season? He's obviously gone from being a practice squad guy to being on the roster. What is he showing you? What's he still showing you?
I think he's gotten better every week, and you could see it during the times that he was practice squad. And giving the offense a look, you can see him improving every week. Now that he's gotten a chance to play, you can see that he's got really good athleticism for a tall, long guy. He's got good power out of his hips, and it's all in front of him. He's going to continue to improve and get better. He's got a chance to be a pretty good football player.